We spoke with the legend, Pro Football Hall of Famer, NFL MVP and Super Bowl champion Steve Young yesterday. On topic, Zach Wilson, the state of college football realignment, and the race for the starting quarterback at BYU. Enjoy a memorable conversation with Steve Young. Steve, I want you to know that we recently spoke with the voice of Baylor Bears football, John Morris, and he said that the 83 and 84 games are two of his favorite memories. Of course, you didn't get to play in the 84 game. He brought up the 83 game and said it was one of the best that he'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So what's an interview with Steve Young if we don't start it with something that has to do with 83 and Baylor?
It's just like, you throw up in your mouth every time. You guys just have a way, right? It's like, well, let's talk about the Cowboy 49 1992 championship game while we're at it, right? Why don't we talk about the Buccaneers Bears in 1986? That was a fun one when Jimmy Ray walked in, my offensive coordinator walked in before we were going out. We were already warmed up, got back in for the, Lord's Prayer and kind of right before the game, like literally before kickoff. He walks up to me and he says, "Hey, you got to be careful out there." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I guess." What do you mean? He goes, "No, I mean, like, you could get really hurt. Like, watch out." I'm like,
what are you supposed to do with that?
That is inspiring. I'm so fired up. And he's like, these guys are like, you remember the 86 Bears, right? That defense was, until the Eagles showed up in 91 and until the Ravens showed up in 2000. I mean, that was it. And you could get killed because people are flying around. The offensive line didn't know where guys were coming from. Gabe Dewerson was coming out of nowhere, and Gary Fensick from the left field, and so it was just funny. Like, be careful out there. You could really get hurt. Like, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I'll go up in a fetal position and just shut it down. But anyway, we're off track already.
I'm pretty sure the same words might be spoken to Zach Wilson this year, but we'll see. What do you think of his situation with the Jets? And, Steve, as of right now, Zach hasn't signed his contract. He's the last player to report, apparently. Any concern with that, of finalizing that? And you've been in that situation with contracts, and you got to report or not, and you got to get what you need, right, within the team context. How do you feel about that situation right now?
I'm a little discouraged by it because the Jets, look, this is some people just on principle will not deal with the catch-up on rookie contract. Rookie contracts are basically set, right? And except for netting out if they let you go, and they waived it for Trevor Lawrence, and they've waived it for others before, other teams. And the Jets at number 2, you should waive it and move on. And it's odd that they're not. And it's odd that they're so, it's kind of like a sign that the team is confused about its commitments. And I know some people just have to, they rest on principle. And Joe Ellis, and this might be a principle thing to Joe Ellis, like, look, we don't do that. That's fine. But look where you are and look what you're saying. And I don't think Zach is unreasonable in trying to get this thing worked out, because it feels like a fair thing to do, and discouraged that they can't figure it out. And I don't want to say it's just jet-like because that's cheap, but I just did. So, off we go.
What are you referring to when you say waive something?
I'm referring to how they can, the guaranteed money is not fully guaranteed, right? In case they wait, they get rid of you, or you have to go, or injury. I mean, there's just ways to say, look, that money that's said it's guaranteed, we want it fully guaranteed. And seems like to me, if I was in that spot, that's what I would want. I would say, look, you pick me number 2, and the basic contract for the rookies is X, but a lot of the highest guys get Y. I want Y. And there's a lot of precedent for it, and it seems like the right thing to do.
Steve Young with us on BYU Sports Nation. From what you have heard and seen about Zach Wilson in New York, as far as his mini camps went and what his coaches are saying, are your expectations higher for him? Have they been maintained? Are they dipping? What do you think?
my really good friend Greg Knapp passed away in a tragic bicycle accident a couple weeks ago, and I don't want to. We need to take a minute and just say that relationship was burgeoning. It was a really good relationship. It was one of the main things that Mike Wilson, his dad, felt comfortable about Zach going to New York. And not that that's going to go away now, but it's really unfortunate because I told Mike this myself, if I had a son that was playing in the NFL, and I would want my son to be coached by Greg Knapp. And so that was a huge positive. Not that they can't find another coach and, things move on, but people need to recognize that was a relationship that would already in the last 4 or 5 months. Greg has coached Michael Vick and Peyton Manning and Matt Schaub and myself. And, and he's been around a long time. He's just a great human. Like a lot of coaches coach with a big stick and they just beat people over the head with it. And that's how they get things done. Greg just, he's not only going to get the best out of you as a quarterback because he understands the position, but he's also going to kind of create a better human, which is very unusual for football coaches. Usually that's not part of the plan. And so that's a bummer for Zach. And, I've had a tough time getting over this one with Napper because it's just so tragically not, just being run over on the side of a road on a bike. It's just too much by someone who's texting, it's just too much to take. But back to the Jets, I think that what Greg, he and I had spoken multiple times this summer about what Zach was doing. And he was so in love with Zach's love of the data. How many times we've talked about that before, where guys that are going to be really good, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, and just go down the Russell Wilson. They're great because of that, not because it's physical. They're great physically, but they're great mentally. They love the data and they memorize and they spend the time. And where Greg has said in the past, guys that didn't never get the full measure of who they could have been. And I agree with that 1,000%. That's how you get the full measure of who you are as a quarterback, is to dive into the data. And the fact that Zach was a data kind of geek in what he was, and that's what Greg was saying all summer, before this tragedy, was just how much he was excited to coach him because he loves the day. Like he loves to sit in there and just grind it out and sit in the dark room and memorize and go through it all. And that's a great sign for success in the NFL. It's not everything, but it's a great sign. Sorry for the long answer, but I just needed to give a minute for Greg Knapp and what he meant to me and what he really, I think, would have meant to Zach.
No, I'm glad you did because we were going to ask you about that anyway. And so it's fitting that you went there, and it is a tragedy. And you have to wonder, how does a team and an offense specifically recover from something like that? How much of a setback will that be, not just mentally, but when they actually start playing games?
I think the biggest challenge is for the quarterback room, because Greg was the quarterback coach. He wasn't the offensive coordinator. And so those guys, those are new coaches. Coach LaFleur is new as offensive coordinator. Coach Sal is new for the head coach. So Greg being there and having been around the league a long time was going to be a nice ballast, I think, for the team in general. So they'll lose that. But I think more than anything, it's the quarterback room that is going to have to change dramatically, because you lose that seniority, that sense of, when Greg can talk about coaching me or coaching Michael Vick or coaching Peyton Manning, there's things that a young quarterback will be like, hey, I might want to listen to that. And so you do lose that. And how you get over it, you make a great hire, but in August, what is the great hire? That's a really tough spot. So that's why I say it's a tragedy all the way around. There's actually no good news anywhere that I can think of.
Yeah, no doubt. And thank you for sharing your feelings about Greg. Absolutely. So Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC. That's going to mess with the Big 12. Who knows if they're going to stay together and add teams. How do you feel about BYU's place in college football right now? And maybe there's an opportunity for a Power 5. Who knows?
Well, I pause because that creates a tremendous amount of complexity throughout college football. It's making a Power 5 now a Power 1, like it or not. And now does the Power One say, you know what, let's just drive it into the ground and let's take the last 2 or 3 marquee names and put them in the SEC. And then it's the Power One. And then everybody else gets the scraps that fall off the table. And that includes the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC. I mean, that's kind of, my mind is, okay, SEC, what's next? Is that it? Are you good? For disrupting now completely the idea of a Power 5 situation. I mean, it's just, where does the Big 12 go from here with 8 teams? The marquee guys gone. Do they go desperately try to find Cincinnati and, kind of geographically Cincinnati, BYU, Houston? And what does that really do? Because in the end, it's all dollars, right? Can you drive some dollars back into the Big 12 because you add these teams to create the ballast that you want, to try to make sure that everybody floats? Then it leaves the Pac-12 trying to figure out, look, we're good, but are you really good? And so I wish that I've been trying to sneak around with ESPN and whoever I can talk to try to figure this out over the last year or two to prepare for something like this. But I didn't see this one, I just didn't think the SEC would do that. Not that it's a bad thing to college football, but man, it is disruptive. And where does it end up? Inevitably, it ends up with the SEC being the dominant force in college football. And is that what we want? Is one conference that kind of dominates everything and everybody else just hanging around? I don't know that nationally that really works. Or can we get the Big 12, Pac-12, and Big 10 kind of playing marquee football again? And that's how you force it, right? Is we're in the national championship games and we're dictating terms and we can go recruit and, Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan, and we can get down to those big games at USC and Oregon. I mean, that's where things have waned. And I think that Texas and Oklahoma kind of saw the writing on the wall and said, look, let's just go make sure that we're good forever. And going to the SEC feels like they're making sure that they're good forever. And everybody else is now not sure that they're good forever.
And no question, there is a tier 1 status for the SEC, and they had that probably before Texas and Oklahoma were in it, but now it's secure.
But this is different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is different.
Yes, absolutely. So with these tier 2 and now tier 3 Power 5 conferences, if we want to call them that, like the Big 12, who now is at the bottom of the pile, is BYU a good fit? Could they stabilize things? I mean, if you are talking to Tom Homo, what do you say?
For me, it's a no-brainer. Like with BYU TV and with our traveling horde that goes to every game. Horde's not the right word, but traveling. Not circus, is not right game. The traveling.
It's a
posse.
It's a road show, Steve. It's a road show.
The posse, Steve.
It's the posse, right? Like we have the posse, but we do have it. But we have it, and I don't think it's true. I don't think it's truly understood. I think BYU is misunderstood in many places. And BYU has changed significantly in important ways to make it even more attractive over the last 5 to 10 years. And I think that getting new eyes on BYU will be positive and good. And I hope those eyes get on quickly. I think that we all recognize that being part of a big, at this point, even though the tiers are being set up, being part of a Power 5 conference long into the future will be good for BYU. Being an independent, Notre Dame has pulled it off because of their, I think, historical power that they can kind of demand. We feel, it feels like year to year, even, even season to season. Like, how's this going? Well, so far so good. We take a temperature every few weeks. That's probably no way to live long term, but that's where we are, and we can. And we've shown that we can. And I give great credit to Tom and the athletic department and President Worthen and BYU just trying to continue to do this. But where does BYU land? I think that maybe the best news is that this situation with Texas and Oklahoma will force more penetrating eyes on BYU, and I think that's a good thing. I think the more you look into BYU, the more you look at what BYU offers, the better you will like BYU. And that's not without challenges. It's not without complications. But I'm hoping that's what happens over the next little bit here.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. Let's ask you about the quarterback race for BYU. 3 quarterbacks are going to duke it out for the starting position. You were in several of these at BYU yourself, not to mention famously with Joe Montana, of course. What's it like for these 3 guys in fall camp to have a couple of weeks to show what they can do and hopefully be the guy? And do you have a guy you think would be the best fit?
Well, Jalen's got the record, and he's been on the field more and got the the history and the time in the locker room. I mean, there's a comfort level around someone that's been around long, but that doesn't necessarily make the. And I leave it to the coaches to try to figure out exactly all because that's a calculus, right? This move right here is and we've shown honestly in the past that we can be athletic about it, and we can make a decision and be wrong and kind of move forward. And I think Kalani's done a good job of kind of demanding that from the team that, look, we're going to change. Let's move on. Let's go. And so I think we have some kind of scar tissue from that in the past that allows the locker room to be tougher and can withstand some of this. It's always great when you pick a guy and it's great and it works out perfect. For me, fundamentally, because we got 3 great options, these are good problems to have. The biggest issue is that we don't change what we're doing offensively. A-Rod, we're on the gas, right? We're BYU. We might get beat 46-45 by Baylor on opening day by some weird, strange confluence of magic that goes against you that's not fair and doesn't seem right, and we probably should go back and revisit some kind of illegalities, but we won't go there right now. But that's who we are. That's what we're doing. That's what we've gotten over the last couple of years. And that's what the nation expects of us. That's what we expect from ourselves. And so do not, under any circumstances, say we have a new quarterback and we're going to try to win 17-14 or 12-11 or something like that. Might scratch my eyeballs out on that one. I might even make a couple calls on that one. but if we can just maintain and there might be growing pains, there might be some struggles, fine. But we have set in stone what we're doing offensively and how aggressive we are throwing the football first. We're going to follow in with some great running. We get that point, but that's who we are. That's what we're going to do. And we pick our quarterback, and that quarterback's going to fit into that philosophy. Just tell me that's true. Spence, tell me that, Jalen. Tell me that's true for whoever it is, and I'm going to be good.
It is true.
It is.
It is true, Steve.
And you just described a Big 12 football game, by the way, right? They just
right.
40-40. Yeah, exactly.
In 1980, you said that's going to be Big 12 football. You're like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, when Nebraska's running the option, no, it's changed, right? Yeah, it's changed quite a bit.
Okay, I do want to ask you one more thing, and this is about the 9-game losing streak to Utah. And I've been saying it on the show for a number of months. Is the key for BYU to win that game having a game manager like Baylor Romney who doesn't turn the ball over? Because it's been devastating turnovers that have been the undoing for BYU more often than not. These pick sixes, fumble recoveries for touchdowns. Would a guy like Baylor Romney be a good option for BYU as a game manager to potentially end that streak?
Okay. We're going to make our quarterback choice on how we've historically played Utah. All right. But that doesn't.
The thirst is real, Steve.
I know. Hey, look, I know the myopic focus on Utah, and that's great. It's like your big brother or little brother or whatever brother we are right now with those guys.
Equal brothers. No.
I think it kind of changes over time, but I get the emotion around it.
Yeah.
And but my point is, if it's going to be true it has to be true for everybody, but it can be true for Utah. And so I don't think that we want to make our decision on how we can look back on where we've gone wrong on Utah. There's no question we want a quarterback that's not going to be throwing the ball around and causing all kinds of grief. You can't turn the ball over 3 or 4 times in a pro game or college game and think you're going to win. So that goes without saying. But picking, I don't mind saying, look, who gives us the best chance to beat Utah as a kind of checklist for how we pick this quarterback, because I think that's going to lead us in the right place. But I don't want to just myopically look at it. Because the Utah, it has been painful. And I never thought that we'd be in a spot. I thought I mean, Utah's been in that spot. What was the most times we
Nine
beat
in a row?
Utah in a row?
Nine in a row.
So we're there. I thought it was 19 for a minute. I
Felt like 19.
Thought it just felt like it there for a little while. I'm just kidding because I know we're getting pounded right now. But look, we need to end it, but then we need to end it because we're a really good football team. So I think we've had better teams recently and just can't get it over the hump. I think it's for us. I would rather play them later. I don't know why. I don't like seeing them that early, but so what? We're independent. We got to do it.
Up 20-0 at half in 2018 was the time we thought it was going to end, and it did not. But I don't care how it ends. I just want it to end. That's a fair question, but Steve, that was a great answer.
I love it. It's always one of our favorite days, and I speak collectively for Jarom and myself when we get to have you on the program. You're a class act. We certainly appreciated your comments on Coach Knapp and the Napper effect on Zach Wilson as well.
Yeah, you guys are the best, and this is a hairy time for college football with the announcement this week, and it really begs the question of what does college football look like in the future, and who are the winners and losers, and if there's only 15 winners or 20 winners, what does football look like? So this is a conversation we've got to keep having and now we're going to pay our athletes and recruiting. And I've just talked to an agent, my agent for a long time, Dave Dunn, and just talking about the college situation where, how do we manage this player likeness, getting money for the local bank, the local car dealer, the local law firm, the local whatever that puts a bunch of money into a pot and give it to a freshman to try to recruit them. Things are changing quickly. So hold on to your hats.
Just so you know, as we finish up, I want you to be there in Waco on October 16th when BYU beats Baylor. Okay. So we can exercise some demons.
I don't know if those demons will ever be. They're just part of life now. And it's like when you're running and you got a little thing in your foot, like a little rock, and it's like I can still run, but it still hurts a little bit. It's like I would love to think that we could exercise that. Maybe I should just to see if it can happen. But getting on with you guys and talking about it every time does make it more painful. I will tell you, I appreciate that.
I apologize for that.
I tell Robbie Bosco what I could have been,
Why hasn't Steve been on the show recently? We keep bringing up 83 Baylor. He doesn't want to talk about it.
83 Baylor, man. Keep me humble. It's awesome.
Oh, Steve, great to talk with you.
Great.
Take care. Be safe. We'll see you soon.
All right. Go Cougs. See you.